I don't have anything really prepared, but I do have strong feelings about this election, and happy to be here, support Joe, especially a person I really love, and this amazing collection of horror people. And it is a great community to be a part of. The horror community is a wonderful group of people, very supportive of each other. I'm supposed to talk a little bit, I guess, about what I'm doing. I'm in Toronto right now. I'm 3 weeks from yesterday. I will begin to shoot The Black Phone 2. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm preparing that shoot. Today it was announced that my latest film, The Gorge, with Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy, Sigourney Weaver, that's going to premiere in 2025. I know the date, but I can't tell it. I'm not sure why they're not releasing it, but they're not. Not my business, I guess, not my department. So we're here to talk about this election, scare up the vote. I really have two things to say. One is about, I think the primary reason to vote in this election is because of the danger of Donald Trump becoming president. And I've spoken about this very frankly in my Twitter feed. I don't mince words about my opinion about this person. I do think that anybody who's listening who has any kind of question about whether or not this person could be a good leader for this country, I think there's too many reasons why his election would be disastrous. He doesn't accept election results. He was, at the very least, complicit in the attempt to overthrow the government on January 6th, a treasonous act. He's lies incessantly about everything. I think he's changed the fabric of American culture and how we think about the truth and speak about the truth and care about the truth. I think he's really contaminated our desire and interest in vetting what is actually true, which is something that's recoverable to some degree, but not with him in office and not with the country that he will leave in his wake if he becomes president. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, I really believe in this person. She was always my favorite person from Congress to become president. I was always a supporter of her. She was my number one choice to become president. I think she will be an incredible leader. She's steady. She's calm. She's a defender of healthcare. She wants to unify the country. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is probably the first president, I don't know, since Andrew Jackson that has no interest in unifying the country. It doesn't want to. And I think that alone is un-American. And I think that, I'm sure people have spoken about the Supreme Court justices. I won't say anything about that. It's pretty obvious what Trump would leave and what Kamala Harris, if she had the opportunity to elect Supreme Court justices, would do to the court. But I'm going to finish on a note. I don't know who else has spoken about this. I haven't watched this program tonight, but I asked myself earlier, what is? I wanted to speak about an issue or issues, and I settled on one. I want to speak for a second about gun control, and I want to finish with gun control because this is an issue that I feel strongly about. My mother and brother and sister all live in Aurora, Colorado. I grew up in Colorado. The Black Phone is set in Colorado. And I grew up on the north side, the Federal Heights, Shaw Heights area. The lies that have been told by Donald Trump in the last 2 weeks about Aurora, Colorado are pretty insidious and just the most horrendous kind of racist lies. Aurora is a beautiful place in a lot of ways, but of course it's probably most famous for the Aurora Theater shooting. Something that I have very deep feelings about. I was very deeply affected by that event. I used to see movies at the Century 16 where that shooting took place. In fact, the last movie that I saw with my father before he died 21 years ago now was in the actual theater, Theater 9, where the Aurora shooting happened. I saw the two towers with him there. And so when I heard about the shooting, I was deeply affected by it. I ended up, I'm not going to explain why I became so connected to the events of that theater, but I've spoken to members of the family of that shooting. I've spoken to a U.S. senator who lost his son in that shooting. And I want to stop at this point and make one thing really clear. I'm a gun owner. You grow up in Colorado, you're probably a gun owner. I own 2 shotguns. I own 2 Smith & Wesson 357 Magnums. I believe in home protection. But something has to be done to protect our children. Simple as that. You know, what's happening in the country and what has continued to grow is the death rate of children and teenagers from firearms. According to Johns Hopkins, the most reliable source of public health statistics in the whole country, firearms remain the leading cause of death for children and teens. For the past 3 years, firearms have killed more children and teens ages 1 to 17 than any other cause, including car crashes and cancer. Don't we love our children? Do we love our kids? Do we care about our children? We're the only country who has this kind of insane problem. The mortality rate of children as a result of firearms is about 6 out of every 100,000. The number 2 country is the country I'm in right now, Canada, which is 0.6. We're 100 times, we have a death rate 100 times higher than the number 2 country when it comes to firearms. And something has to be done. As somebody who deals shamelessly in violence in the art that I do, as like most horror filmmakers, like most horror authors, we can be very brutal when we're dealing with art and horror, the horrors of the world, taking the horrible seriously, sometimes comedically, but taking it on, reckoning with it. This is something I believe very strongly in, that, you know, the purpose of what we all do, we don't add more horror to the world. We're trying to reckon with the horror in the world. And that is where horror art has its value. But the real horrors are things like what happened in the Aurora Theater shooting. You know, the people who lost their sons and daughters, wives, husbands, children, mothers, fathers. That's horror. That's the real horror. And one of the ways that we can reckon with that is by putting a limitation on these kind of mass shootings. And it's one of the reasons to vote for Kamala Harris. It's one of the reasons to give money, to support causes like this one, and to lose this stranglehold that the NRA and the right have had over their insistence on defining the Second Amendment in an improper way and not caring about the children, these kids who go to school in fear and who are getting slaughtered at the hands of these weapons. So there's my little stump speech about one of the great reasons to vote for Kamala Harris. I think that's all I have to say. I'm going to bow out now. It was great to be a part of this event, and thank you for having me.